Hello, everybody. This is Takedown Wrestling. I'm Tony Hager, and we're joined by Chris Watson, who's the Division II Wrestler of the Year from Central Oklahoma. How are we doing today, Chris?
Oh, I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, pleasure to have you on. You've kind of had a crazy whirlwind of events that have came to you here, and some highs and some lows. You've been a part of Central Oklahoma for 6 years, correct?
Right. Yep. This is my sixth year, my senior year.
So everything is all said and done. You had a redshirt year, and then due to medical hardship, you were granted an extra year. Was that what year was that you were granted your hardship?
It was my second year, so it would have been my red shirt freshman year.
Okay. Well, 6 years you came in, and I'm guessing learned a lot, and you put together just a remarkable season. 42-0 on the season, school record, bonus points, and of course that national championship, and a huge honor, Division II Wrestler of the Year. That's voted amongst your peers, coaches. So, what after all of going through 6 years of wrestling in college is a grind, putting in all that work to not only win the national title but to get this award? What's that feeling like, Chris?
Oh, it's it's the old cliche, dream come true. Um, it has been a roller coaster. 6 years is a long time to, especially to be in college wrestling. It is a grindy, gritty sport, and fortunately, I had a lot of good coaching and some good peers, good teammates, good support over the last 6 years. Dealt with a couple different shoulder surgeries, and obviously just the nicks and tears and bangs and wears of wrestling in general. Um, but I never would have imagined I'd be, I certainly wanted to be a national champion, but Division II Wrestler of the Year, and just the season that I had this year, it's been an incredible experience.
Well, you got to experience huge. The pinnacle in Division Two is to win that national title, and shortly after that, you were diagnosed with a massive blood clot in your right arm and your shoulder. Maybe that's from some of the injuries that you sustained earlier in the year, but this actually you had the blood clot during the national tournament. Describe that feeling now that you know that you actually had a blood clot and wrestling with that.
It's kind of ominous, really. I'm extremely fortunate to be actually sitting here today talking to you. The doctors told me that I was extremely lucky that this didn't, break off and leave and go to maybe my heart and lungs or my brain at any point. Yeah, I competed with it, and that's kind of a scary feeling. But hindsight's 2020. I got to wrestle at nationals and win a national title, and then they ended up taking care of the blood clot. So by the grace of God, everything just kind of worked out in my favor.
Well, this is what crazy wrestling fans, and you're in the Nike hot seat here, and we're talking to Chris Watson about not only his national title but this blood clot that we just brought up. It was actually 8 inches of total blockage, and took multiple surgeries to get done. And we're happy to say that Chris is 100% clearance of the blood clot. Didn't have to go up into his brain, thank God. And Chris, as the surgeries went well, is there any kind of follow-ups that you have to do to make sure that you're good and healthy?
Yeah, certainly. The last surgery was pretty invasive. I had to go in through my femoral artery on both legs in my groin area, up through my heart, and attack this blood clot and basically suck it out. And certainly there's some physical restrictions when you're coming out of post-op. Obviously, I'm not going to be running or squatting or wrestling anytime soon, especially being on blood thinners. But yeah, I'll be. I got basically cleared to do some pretty normal physical activity last Friday, and I'll have to go back in sometime in late June or July to make sure that everything's cleared and get checked up by the physician.
Well, being one of the most accomplished wrestlers in your school's history, have they talked to you about coming back to coach, or do you have aspiration? Do you plan on coaching somewhere?
We haven't. I've never sat down with my coaches or the administration and talked about coaching here. no one's reached out to me about coaching. Um, I actually took a job with Coke Industries out of Wichita in October, and I'll be a market analyst for their Invista group. I certainly I would have. Coaching has always been something that I've considered doing. I've wavered on, maybe working or coaching at some point, but no, that's never a conversation we've had. And who knows? I may get out in the workforce and hate it and come back to wrestling. You just never know.
Well, wrestling doesn't pay probably as well as that job, I'm assuming. So what are you going to graduate with? What's going to be your degree? Is it going to be in the field with Coke?
Actually, I have two bachelors. The first one was I have a finance degree, business finance, and this spring I'll be graduating. In May, I'll be graduating with both degrees, but I'm finishing up my marketing degree as we speak. So I have a business finance and marketing.
Going through this experience, this is just being a wrestler. Wrestlers don't have a tough time ever usually finding a job just because of the dedication it takes to be out for this sport. But kind of having a moment like this where, hey, I just won a national title, pinnacle, and then just finding out that, man, I've got this blood clot, and none of those national titles, none of those awards that you ever got even matter. Health is the most important thing. When you look back at being in the hospital and having all these thoughts, what was going through your head about your future?
You bring up a good point. I was in the hospital for 4 days, and there was certainly a lot of time to think about, where I was at in life and where I was going in life, and am I going to make it out of this? Is everything going to be okay? I did just win a national title and outstanding wrestler of the tournament, but like you mentioned, it just seemed really petty compared to what was going on at the time. Um, really more than anything, I'm just fortunate to be alive, and obviously my health is very important. I think I have a lot of things ahead of me in life, and I want to be able to enjoy those things.
Being able to overcome this, something that you're dealing with currently, is going to be something I would think that employers in the future could look at. That somebody that doesn't just set aside, hey, I've been diagnosed with a blood clot here, and it could have hindered your future, but you right now you're healthy as it can be from what I can tell, and doing interviews with us and telling people your story, that life really is so short. I mean, we complain about all this stuff in wrestling, and media people gripe about little things, but at the end of the day, what all is it? And what really, why are we talking about this when it could all be taken away from us with a snap of the fingers? So,
Yeah.
on behalf of Takedown Wrestling, we wish you good health and the best of luck with you and your job opportunities in the future. It'd be a shame not to see a coach, and anytime a national champ steps away from the mat. We always never like to hear that, but I'm sure you'll find your way to the mat. Once you're a wrestler, you're always a wrestler. I
Oh,
mean,
definitely. And whether I take my careers with wrestling, I'm certainly going to find my way back to the mat. There's a lot of youth organizations, a lot of national teams, a lot of kids out there. Wrestling gave me the opportunity, to be a national champion and meet so many great people, and the experiences you have are just so special, and people just don't understand, what wrestlers go through, and the grind and the grit and the camaraderie. It's a special thing, and I think being 24 years old and my career's over. It's important to me to give back, and maybe my impact on someone else. I can land someone else in this chair talking to you, 15 years down the road, 10 years down the road, or whatever. I'll certainly give back, whether my job ends up being a wrestling coach or whether I just find a way to coach a youth organization. Either way.
and I was going to end this interview, but you kind of brought something up that wrestlers, we're just kind of like a family. I swear, like I just see somebody in the grocery store and they got cauliflower ear, and I can go up and just talk to them, and they don't think it's weird. But if you just go up to a random person and just say, hey, they're like, who are you? But as soon as you see each other's ears, you just kind of have that respect for one another. When you were in the hospital, did you have, a lot of wrestling, partners and your team behind you, along with your actual family, by your side?
Oh, absolutely. I would. You're on medication, so you're kind of in and out. Trying to get rest because it's a hospital and you never sleep for more than 2 hours at a time. I'd wake up and there'd just be people in my room, just sitting there, just sitting with me, not even talking to me. They didn't have to be there. Obviously, practice partners, close friends, wrestlers' parents, even that I hadn't talked to, but maybe a few times in my life would come up and say, "Hey, what can we do? What can we do for your family? Do you need anything? We're here for you. If you ever need anything, please call us." And like you said, wrestling, maybe we're on different teams, but we are a big family. Especially in a time where wrestling, the sport of wrestling, struggles to stay afloat, especially with the recent Olympic issues that have been going on. So, it's important for wrestling to stick together and, be a community and have a strong voice.
And as people hear about your story, I'm sure they're going to want to reach out to you. Is there a way that they can, reach you on social media, give you kind of a shout out?
Yeah, I don't have I got rid of all my like Facebook or I guess Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff. But I did keep my Facebook, so I kind of went old school, I guess, with the social media. But yeah, I'm on social media, and obviously I still have an email and a cell phone too. So
Well, if you want to reach out to Chris Watson, Central Oklahoma 165-pounder, Division II Wrestler of the Year, national champ, give him a shout out on Facebook. Reach out to him, and if this story has touched you in one way, I'm sure Chris would love to hear about it, because wrestlers are always changing people's lives, and whether it's on the mat, off the mat. We really appreciate you being here today, Chris, and thank you from Takedown Wrestling. This interview's been brought to you by Nike Wrestling. Chris, we will hopefully see you on the mat down the road.
okay, wonderful. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, man.
Thanks.